Hey guys, Mike the Gaming Dad here and welcome back to the channel. I'm really excited to be sharing this video with you because in this video we're going to be trying something interesting, and that is, can we turn the Dragonborn into Barry Allen, aka The Flash, the fastest man alive? So starting out at the very beginning, what race shall we pick for this challenge? Well, the choice felt pretty obvious. It has to be the High Elf, right? The male High Elf is the tallest, so moves the quickest across the map. It's a small difference, but every little helps. So here he is, the most elf-like name in all of Tamriel, Barry.
You are not with the Thalmor Embassy, are you, High Elf?
Now my starting point to recreate the fastest man alive was, what items are there in Skyrim that actually increase a player's speed? And there are a couple. One of them can be acquired as part of the Soul Divided quest in Riften, which starts when you read this note attached to the Ratway door. Inside the second of the rooms where you face the ghostly figures is a gate which contains a skeleton of somebody called Veric. Read the note that he stabbed to the table to start a shoot-off to this quest. And this will eventually lead you to Broken Fang Cave to retrieve a sword called Bloodthirst. And one of the enchantments on Bloodthirst is it increases the player's speed by 7%. A small boost, but it's a start. With the fishing expansion came a number of rings from previous Elder Scrolls games, and quite a few of these make the player move faster as well. The biggest percentage boost from these comes from the Ring of the Wind, which increases your speed by 15%. And this is where things got quite interesting very quickly. The Ring of the Wind is actually affected by illusion potions. Take this Elixir of Illusion for example, which boosts by 100%, and if we drink this, the ring now increases our speed by 30%. So the illusion boost directly impacts the strength of the fast enchantment on the ring. It doesn't seem to impact any of the other rings from the fishing expansion though. The Warlock's ring still only boosts by 5%, and the Ring of Khajiit still only boosts by 10%. What is good is, if you equip the ring, even when the illusion potion has worn off, as long as you don't remove the ring, the enchantment will stay. And at 30%, I'd say it's starting to become noticeable to the naked eye that your player is quicker. So my immediate thought was, how high can we actually push this? I turned to the resto glitch. If we're going to test this, we may as well test it the most busted way I know how, right? So I did some resto potion loops. For anyone not familiar with this is where you enchant a ring, amulet, bracelet and helmet with Fortify Alchemy. You then wear this 4-piece set and make a potion of Fortify Restoration. Abyssinian Longfin and Salt Pile can do this like so. You then unequip the 4-piece set, you drink the potion, and you then re-equip the set, and the percentage increments just go crazy high. It's been in the base game since the beginning. The USET mod has patched this for over a decade now, but Bethesda has never taken it out. I looped this over about 4 or 5 times and then made a Fortify Illusion potion of over 8 million %. And I don't know what I was expecting to happen, because what happened next was pretty obvious. The ring now boosts our speed by 2 million %, and I repeat, I do not recommend anyone tries this. I mean, the task was to create the Flash, and I think we achieved it, but it's so fast it's impossible to control, and it immediately bugged out. I couldn't actually stop him from running. I even loaded up another save outside from before I did this, and he was still running like this. He ran straight off the boundary of the map and into the sky. I had to hard reset just to get it to stop. The resto glitch is bad, people. But not to be deterred, I thought, how can we incorporate speed manipulation into a usable build, but one that isn't crazy broken? So I started where all good Skyrim playthroughs should start. I took over Golden Hills Farm and I started harvesting alchemy ingredients. Enough in fact to level our alchemy to level 100. I then took my standard 7 alchemy points I use when alchemy looping, 5 in the base, plus Physician and Benefactor. We then made daggers, almost 300 in fact, and enchanted them with Banish to level enchanting to 100. I then took 8 perk points in enchanting. These are the 5 in the base, plus the 3 up the middle of the skill tree. Although it's only really Insightful and Corpus that we actually need in the end for this. I then travelled to Gallows Hall at Mara's Eye Pond. Inside here is the Bloodworm Helm, which boosts enchanting if one is a vampire and has Necromage, which I'll get onto shortly. I then travelled to Solstheim and started the Unearthed quest at Colbion Barrow. During this quest it's important that we collect all the pieces of the Azadel's armour set.
Would you look at that?
I then travelled north to Whiteridge Barrow. In here is a black book, and the enchantment at the end we need to grab is the Secret of Sorcery, which boosts enchanting by 10%. And lastly, we need to become a vampire and then pick up the Necromage perk in the Restoration tree, which is available once Restoration hits level 70. So what we're going to do now is the Alchemy Enchanting loop. Equip the Bloodworm Helm and 4 pieces of the Azadel's armour set, only 4 of them. And this is because with 4 equipped we get a boost to our overall enchanting level. See here it is 112. Normally it's 110 with Azadel's boost, but Necromage Vampirism gives us an extra 2 points. Now we're going to take an Enchanter's Elixir, the 25% version, and because of the boost of Necromage plus the boost from the Bloodworm Helm, 25% actually becomes 39% as shown here.
Oh, I thought you were all...
Sorry Farangar, can you move out the way? We have important work to do here. Now we're going to enchant a ring, necklace, braces and helmet with Fortify Alchemy using Grand or Black Soul Gems only, and this is so we get the strongest version of the enchantment, which for the first stage is 35% per item. Now we're going to unequip all of our armour and put on this new 4-piece set, and this is very similar to the Resto glitch, it's just not completely busted like that is. Now combine Drogue Wax, one of the rare Curious ingredients, with Blue Butterfly Wing, and this will make a Fortify Enchanting Potion. This is the first loop done, and now we just repeat those steps. Equip the Bloodworm Helm, plus the 4 pieces of Azadel's armour set. We take the 83% Enchanting Potion, and due to Necromage and the Bloodworm Helm, this is actually a boost of 129%. We now make more alchemy gear, and this time our boost goes from 35% to 57%. I looped this over 2 more times. The third time I think our boost was about 75%, and then this 4th time it was 91%. You can keep going if you wish, the increments just get smaller each time until eventually it'll level out. With this 4th loop set, the boost we actually get is 113% per item. So with this set I'm now going to combine Dragon's Tongue with Mora Tapanella, and this makes a potion of Fortify Illusion, a 333% boost. So because we have Necromage Vampirism, the Ring of the Wind actually increases speed by 18% now, but let's see what happens when we take this Fortify Illusion potion. It now boosts our speed by 96%, which actually equates to a 120% increase. So we're going to be travelling a little over double the speed. So I've put the two side by side and it is noticeably faster now. Normal speed actually looks so slow in comparison, it's like we're barely moving at all. It's even more apparent when we start sprinting how quick we are actually moving. And this is actually crazy, I mean we get across the map so much faster now. And it's actually not that hard to control either. I think it's important not to push this too far, because it's okay on an open map like this, but any faster than this and moving indoors becomes a problem. You end up running into tables, walls, overshooting doorways and so on. What is really interesting though is the fast enchantment doesn't just affect your movement speed, it affects your swing speed as well. Look at this. So our swing speed is 120% faster, which means DPS output is higher as well. Even though we're now very quick, it doesn't feel like we are too much like the Flash anymore though, so we had to mix things up a little bit still. A few weeks back I released a video on shout cooldowns, specifically how to reduce your shout cooldown by 100%. I'll link that video in the description below in case anyone hasn't seen it and wants to check it out. I'll show one of the methods to do that here, but before that, just on the subject of player speed, I decided to stick with the two-handed sword approach with this build, and this is because I wanted the dual flurry perks in the one-handed skill tree, which both together increase your swing speed by 35%. I'll just show the shout cooldown method though. To do this you'll need an Amulet of Talos, which reduces cooldowns by 20%. The Stormbear chestplate, which also reduces by 20%, and this is available through the Battle of the Champions quest. And you also want the Blessing of Talos. And then finally you'll need the Dragon Aspect Shout as well, all 3 words of this, which you can get the final word on completion of the Dragonborn DLC questline. When you use the strongest version of this shout, you get another 20% shout cooldown on top as well. So up to now we have an 80% reduction, but due to the Necromage Vampirism, which seems like it literally affects everything, this 80% boost actually becomes 100%. Why is this important? Well, this unlocks the ability to use multiple shouts in tandem, in particular the Elemental Fury shout and the Slow Time shout. With the Elemental Fury shout, this build is going to swing incredibly fast. And well, we all know what Slow Time does. Your increased character speed, plus these 2 shouts, leads to quite an interesting combination. You really do start to move like the Flash now. Enemies won't even know what has hit them. I've also added in the Lightning Cloak spell into this build. This is more of a cosmetic inclusion than anything else. For anyone who has watched any of The Flash, at his fastest, Barry gives off blue and white lightning. It looks kinda cool, especially when combined with Slow Time. To anyone else standing by, you really would look like the Flash as you shot by. I'll just quickly go over my skills. So Restoration is level 70 as previously mentioned, and this is purely to access the Necromage perk. I did this by enchanting 100% Restoration cost reduction set, and then repeatedly casting Turn Lesser Undead on the Draugr in the midden. I have used this method on my channel before, so regular watchers will likely have seen it. Destruction Magic is level 50, and this is purely to unlock the Lightning Cloak spell, which you can buy at level 50. I've also taken the Adept level perk, and this is to reduce the cost of the spell enough so I could actually cast it, as we haven't really been putting any perk points into magic, only health and stamina. With the cost of the spell halved, it now sits at 123, and beforehand we didn't have the magic pool to actually use this. So Conjuration and Illusion I haven't used at all. Alchemy is level 100 as I mentioned earlier, and we have the 7 perks in here. Speech has just been levelling organically as I've played. Pickpocket we haven't used. Lockpicking and Sneak have been levelling organically, but we haven't really used them that much. Light Armour we have been mainly using, and we have 5 perks in here. The main one I wanted was Unhindered, so we could sprint more and not use up as much stamina. Archery we haven't used. One-handed we are using, and the main perks are Armsman, Dual Fury and Dual Savagery. and we have 10 perks in this tree in total. Two-handed and block we haven't used, and heavy armour we weren't using, but now we have the Stormbear armour chest, so this is starting to be levelled as well. We may never actually get to it, but I don't know if conditioning is a good perk to get here or not, as it'll reduce the stamina drain from the chest plate. Smithing is level 41 due to making hundreds of daggers when levelling enchanting, and enchanting is level 100 as mentioned earlier with the 8 perks used here. And then finally alteration we haven't used at all. And that is it, my Speedster build, all made possible due to a weird quirk with one of the new fishing quest rings. What do you think of it? Would you make use of this ring, or do you think speed manipulation is too broken? Thank you for watching, I am Mike the Gaming Dad, and I'll see you next time.